The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour, if a little belated. And I've got workers here, so if you have any loud bangs, well, they're just working on the air conditioner. S&P up 7. Dow down 75. NASDAQ up 122. Russell off 22. And it doesn't matter when we get here, as it's long as it's now. And of course that didn't work. Going to have a bunch of stuff going on here today. But the real question is, what and how did earnings go? We've got a lot of those to go through. And more. Of course, a lot of, I call it the Super Bowl day, where it's the biggest. But the thing we really want to start looking at now is volume. We're starting to finally pick up a little bit in a fall volume. 7.6 billion shares as we start the show. But a lot of stuff going on. Okay, 877-927-6648. And you can email me at path@tfnn.com. I think I already have some email questions already. We'll see if any of these need to be answered now. First one is the TLT. Probably the biggest story out here today is the TLT. We've been in a danger zone for a while, and that danger zone was set up by a lot of spending. We're up 271 today again, and you know what? I think that's kind of the end of the danger to the bond market for a while. Do we go a lot higher? I would say 151 is probably a fairly decent high. The question is how long before the Fed now decides that it can start putting some more pressure on the market. Now that a lot of the bond vigilantes and government spending guys have probably finished the war, and will be going on in the near future. Anyway, pretty much a flat kind of market, and with even the billionaires tax going the way of the dodo fairly quickly, I think we're probably looking at a market that is sanguine, probably. You're going to have a lot of winners and not a lot of losers. Maybe we can do some history. Don't think so. I knew that if one didn't work, then probably the other one wasn't going to work. But what do we have here? Copo. Okay. Save settings. And see. Nope. She's broke today. So we'll have to sing it by herself, and that is a little bit of history. On this day in 1980, the ARPANET, the precursor to the modern internet, stops functioning for about 4 hours after the network's routing cables are corrupted by malfunctioning interface equipment processor, IMP. All this stuff used to be the size of a refrigerator for all the different modules that made it. Of course, the ARPANET was a answer to what happens when the phone lines go down in a nuclear war. They wanted a way to automatically route around all of it, and the government started throwing some money at the problem. But by, I think about 1969, they had kind of the inklings of what it would be like, actually hooking up many of the institutions of higher learning. I actually went down and was able to get on the ARPANET at the college downtown. It was very interesting to look at it. Of course, it wasn't a lot of use unless you were sending documents back and forth that had to do with some kind of paper you were writing. There were a few other things. You could check how many Cokes were in the Coke machine. That was important. That was an interesting thing. See if you needed to order more from student services. But that was about it. But it would take pretty much another 15 years to have the internet really start to break out. About 1995 is when we saw the earlier adopters go and give way to the mass, huge tornado that would be the internet. Of course, I continue to say it's nothing more than a fad, but that's just me. Okay, other things going on today. We wanted to get to those earnings. As we said, the TLT really telling everybody that the bond vigilantes are once more headed off into the lonesome prairie, and you got a nice bump. Now, part of this is the Fed had been throwing a lot of money, and probably too much. My guess is that this week you'll probably see them back off. They don't want to drive this too much farther, but 151, 152-ish could be doable just on the momentum that we have now. Okay, other things we wanted to get in early on earnings, and then we'll look for what's after the bell tonight later in the show. But the big movers out here, Ashford Hospitality Trust, a REIT, nice little pop-up, just everybody short these things. And, of course, bond prices helping them out today. Peabody Energy, kind of interesting. I think this is a big natural gas thing. But anyway, BTU's back down testing a previous low. It is on a little bit of lighter volume. The last low was September 29th at $12.56 with 8.7 million shares. Got into it with about 5.4 million shares. So that's it. Okay. C.H. Robinson Worldwide broke hard today after going up since about the 6th of October. You have some decent volume. Support comes right back in at around $90. Didn't look at the earnings, so I don't know exactly why they're saying there's problems. Capital One Financial, some of these banks not getting the memo, down on 5 million shares through the previous low is Capital One Financial. September 8th, 152.13, 3.4 million shares. You got into it already with 5.1 million shares. Question is whether or not you close below that 152.13. So you want to look at that one before the end of the day. BTU Coal out of previous bankruptcy. I thought that at one time they had natural gas, but interesting. Thanks for the heads up, Z. DAQO. DQ is the symbol on this one. Up just a little bit, not much. And the winner, chicken dinner of all time today, the Mac Daddy in phase. These guys make inverters for solar panels and cars, back up to the previous high with gusto. Not quite to 229 yet, 225.40. We'll be back.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as we come back, we've got Andre from Colorado.
Yeah.
How you doing today, Andre?
How you doing, Dave? Thanks for that good call on Tesla. I did not go short, thank God. I just skyrocketed way back when. We got a little snow here in Colorado. I got the skinny skis out. I don't know, you Floridans probably don't know what the skinny skis are, but they're Nordic skis. And there's just enough snow to go around. I live near Pikes Peak.
I don't know.
Just enough snow to get the skis going.
I don't know if you had anything like that or you skied when you were younger, but in my 20s, you could get in a bus at 6 p.m. on Friday night and be at the bottom of the of Breckenridge at 9 a.m. the next day, ski all day. They drive you to a hotel. You get up in the morning, you throw everything on the bus, and ski all day Sunday. Get on the bus at 4 and be back in the parking lot at 6 a.m. Monday morning. Time to go back to work. And what do you think the price was for that, including the ski lift ticket?
Oh, way back in the old days?
80s.
Gee, $15, 80 bucks? What?
$150 for everything.
Oh. Well,
the ski lifts,
if you love
hotels.
skiing, it's worth it. I need a call on Apple. I think Apple's a good short at 148. The stock is sitting at 25 cents, and it's got this big, huge, it came down from 157 down to 138, and then now it's at about 150, 151, 149. I think that's going to get clobbered. The earnings are coming out today, correct?
Let's make darn double tootin' sure. Okay. Okay, Apple is at 4:30 tonight, which is correct. I was pretty sure. Amazon also, Starbucks, U.S. Steel, Skechers, Gilead, Western Digital. Okay, here's what I'm thinking on Apple. Probably flat. They don't have a lot of ways to go up, but I continue to think that for Christmas, it's going to be very tough to get a lot of stuff, and anybody that can have anything like earbuds or the phones themselves that can be flown over in a 747, that stuff's going to sell well because it's going to be available. If If you're talking about a big TV that sells for $500, you probably can't air freight that over on a 747. But those things that can make it easy to get are probably going to do well. I don't see a lot of reasons to go long Apple, but I don't see any reasons to go short it either.
Right.
After Christmas,
I'm just looking for some kind of surprise after the earnings. Of course, they're going to be great. They always are. The revenues. The only thing they can't do is do the revenues.
Yeah,
the revenues tell the tale. They can just massage those earnings any way they want. Don't you agree with that?
They also have $200 billion in which they can rebuy their own stock, which is generally which is ones that I tend to stay away from. Ones are with huge piles of cash. The other ones are the broker dealers like Morgan Stanley. Those guys are always able to thimble rig the market on their own stock, much less others. So I don't see a lot of reasons to go after stocks that got 200 billion in the bank.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking for a real short-term trade. This is my trading strategy here. I see a move down 50% from the 138 low. That low, you can see that clear as a bell, and the 151, about $13. So I see a decline $5 to $8 after the earnings. And I'm looking to short 1,000 shares. You only have to put up 50%, and looking for just a scalp on the short side, $5-6 on the downside. I don't think there's too much upside possibilities on this. I think everything's pretty much discounted. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think of that kind of trade? I'm thinking the only money's going to be made is if you're selling both sides of the puts and the calls. I think this thing goes sideways. So a straddle. You're saying a straddle. That, I think, is the only thing that even I would remotely do, and I don't think I'd do that. But, tomorrow morning, this thing continues to print off at 150. You're going to see the premiums in half on both sides. So, that's a nice strategy. So you're saying do a straddle. Yeah, I don't think. In other words, wait a minute. You sell a put. What kind of straddle would you put on? Buy a call and sell. If you haven't done it, have you done straddles before? No. Okay, I would call your broker. Right. You got plenty of time. Okay. You got an hour and a half before it goes. Tell them you're doing it for the first time. If I tell you and you try to do it, you might do it backwards, and that would bother me. So I would just say, I would just say, they're complicated. I would just say, go ahead and call them. I play puts and calls, but but very good advice. But I don't know. What do you think? $5-6 down. I think $5-6 down. That's what I think. If it's $5 or $6 down after the earnings, it'll be flat tomorrow when it opens. Well, I can trade it after hours. You can. I just don't see that much of a movement. No, I'm just putting in a sell order 148. If it busts that little, if you look at the 15 minutes, do you have 15-minute charts, candlestick charts on Apple? No, I don't use those. Oh, yeah. But you'll see, if you do, you'll see this 10-day, just beautiful, big, huge topping pattern. You know what? And it sounds, all this sounds more like a bet than prudent trading to me. And that's the same thing. I don't see any kind of signals out here. I don't see anything else. It actually looks to me like the thing goes flat. And so if I was going to do anything, and I won't be doing it, I would have a straddle on for tomorrow because the premiums will drop in half on both sides. I take it you don't like to trade the Apple here. There's not a lot of movement in it. I mean, the one that I liked yesterday was in phase, and I didn't even go for that. But it's I thought maybe it was up $5. It was up 20. So much these days has to do with a stock trading on how they say it, not what they say so much. And in the olden days, they used to let things leak, so you didn't have a lot of surprises. But I'm looking for something that's predictable
And I don't see a lot of predictability here one way or the other than more than likely the thing goes flat. So that would be
right.
it.
But look at the chart there. Look at it looks like a failure rally on Apple.
I am.
Look at
see
the weak
absolutely
volume.
nothing.
I can't believe they can't get this thing up.
I don't see anything. I see 150. Thanks for the call.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Like your
You
program. Bye-bye.
Okay. Getting ready to wrap up. As we said, we have a lot of earnings coming out after night. We'll go through the rest of the ones that moved fairly strongly. Saw Twitter. We'll look at that one next. But then we got the rest of the show to go through some of these earnings after the bell tonight. Amazon, Starbucks, Skechers. We'll look at all of those, including the rest of the earnings from last night this morning.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, Apple is tomorrow night, not tonight. Interestingly enough, the website I was on was wrong. I went and checked a couple others during the break, and yes, a lot of those that I talked about tonight are actually tomorrow. Now, tonight, we've got Ford Motor Company, Teladoc, eBay, Twilio, ServiceNow, Yum China, and Align Technology, Spirit Airlines also, and iRobot after the bell. So we'll go through those later. Glad that you guys are there to check on it, but I did find that very interesting. I think maybe there's a bug in the way they display their data. Anyway, we were back to Apple and some of these other Enphase, of course, the big winner chicken dinner on this one. They make inverters for solar cells, and of course a lot of inverters for cars. So this has always been a good business, but great earnings on it. If you want to be in the EV revolution, I think instead of being in Tesla, this was probably always a much better long-term bet. FFIV, a little gap higher. You got decent volume, but you're not going to hold the highs that you really need around 215, 216. You got to 225. We'll see, what do we have here now? 217. So you're going to be just over that. You gave a lot of it back. Still have a nice gap below it. That's F5 Networks. 1-800-Flowers. Apparently you're not sending flowers to your mother. I know I'm not, but of course she died a long time ago, so it won't do any good. Actually looks fairly good. You have a huge volume day, August 26th, 1.4 million shares. Today kind of got in the bottom of that candle again with just 256,000 shares. I think flowers are always going to be in the business, aren't they? Yeah, I'll look at that in just a second. Google, of course, on earnings up was fairly decent. Just going up against resistance right at that 3,000 mark. 29.39 was the September 1st high, was 800,000 shares. Big candle today up there. And again, Facebook taking the brunts and arrows of outrageous fortune, where Google is kind of walking through right now. I have a feeling a lot of that is money coming out of Facebook and going into Google. Hawaiian Airlines, man, this is going to be probably and continue to be one of the worst airlines. If you wanted to be short airlines, I'd be short Hawaiian and long something else. Hawaiian or Hawaii is not very visitor friendly these days, and that may continue for a long time. Of course, one of the biggest losers of the day is Robinhood. We see a fairly decent gap down. Let's see. Click the wrong thing here. Just E. Do I need something longer? I guess haven't been around that long then. Back to their IPO price today, around just under $35. This is where I'd love to see this consolidate out for a while. From what I read earlier in the morning, just not enough Bitcoin business. Not exactly sure if this is a legacy of some of the problems they had on earlier, just after they came out. But quiet on the Western Front from Robinhood and not doing the kind of volume that they once did. Okay. Question about ION Q. The biggest problem I had is this is not ION Q, right? Why is this not coming up? Let's go ahead and try it again here. Okay. Biggest problem I have with this is just how nutty it trades. But a quantum computing stock, and every time I talk about quantum computing, I get a lot of questions about what quantum computing is. And a lot of people think it's like ones and zeros, and it's not. It's not as hard as everybody would think. In fact, I heard a good description of it last couple of days on one of the channels I follow on YouTube. But it's interference patterns between different states of matter. And you can think of it this way: the whether or what the value is not one thing, but multiple things. So it's not like throwing one rock in a still pond. It's like throwing a couple of rocks or 3 rocks or 5 rocks in different patterns and watching how all the waves interact at once. And that's how you get different variable levels beyond just being a 1 and a 0. And the more you put in there, of course, the more complex value that a qubit can have. The thing is, this one, its history is a lot murkier than some of the other ones that I cover in the Tech Insider. And one of the reasons why I kind of avoided this one, just it's riskier. I know a lot more about some of the others out here. You're up, big volume day in this, but to me, it looks like you're going to test the previous high on half the volume, which is generally never a great thing. So I just continue on. Comment in the den from John. This is why I hold TAN, which is the solar cell thing, in phase, and SEDG are 2 of those companies that work in that same sector that in phase does. But as I've said many times before, generally the big money is always made peripherally when someone says there's a gold mine. And if that gold mine's EV or if it's solar cells, then generally there's something else. Someone's going to make something in there that's going to make a great deal of money. It was the jeans and pick and axe manufacturers around the gold mines in the late 1800s. I suspect it's going to be a lot more of the control folks that really make the big money, like those others. Okay. Okay. What else do we have? Juniper Networks. Oh, that's Hood. We're doing it again. Juniper Networks back up to previous high. You got some decent volume here. Looks like you might close over that high. You want to watch that one closely. You have all the volume you need. You need a close above 29.59. This August 25th high. Okay, MasterCard and Visa out. Big dip for MasterCard. Maybe a little bit more about how the bonds are trading and whether or not we get higher interest rates. I didn't hear the call on this, but certainly you're right back to support. You had 4 million shares at support on September 20th. You're down there already with 7 million shares. Not looking good. Look at Visa when we return.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
And we got Hector asking, NVIDIA and the Euro trash are sticking their nose in the ARMS deal. No biggie, correct, in this buying opportunity for Texas Instruments? Probably not until after the first of the year. Again, part shortages really have hurt them. They sell a lot of low-dollar stuff. So if you're not making new dashboards for cars and they're shut down, it's just not going to, until the part shortage stops. This isn't a company that makes a huge load on each chip like AMD or Intel. This is a company that grinds out a lot of chips that are well known, some of them back into the 60s. And a lot of times they make a penny or a nickel on that stuff. They do have some other stuff they do make more money on. But, again, it isn't the kind of stuff they make routinely, 65% margins on a $500 product. It's a fairly inexpensive 5, 10, maybe at the maybe they got something more than $50. But my guess is that they don't make too many chips over $50. Most of the stuff, you can get 5 of them for $1 or, 10 of them for $10. There's and if it was just 100% profit, you'd still only make $10. So we have to look at these guys being kind of the grocery store part of the semiconductor business, and they can't afford having part shortages. So when this comes back, yes. Is this going to be a huge buy? I think so. But right now, I don't see any reason to get in front of the train. Now, NVIDIA, is it really a big deal? NVIDIA. If they don't get to buy ARMS Holdings, I don't think so. It would be nice. NVIDIA envisions itself going more after AMD and into the processor department than it does anything else, and incorporating those processors into their GPUs. So is it a big deal? Not as much as I think a lot of people would think. It's still right now all about video graphics cards, where they could sell 4 times the amount they want to sell, or that they're selling today, if they could make them for the next 6 months. So for me, the big gap up on NVIDIA above the previous high. I always thought that this is more looking like a $300 stock than a $200 stock. 250, 259 yesterday, a little less volume. If this got back to about 235, I'd probably look at it there. Everybody, including NVIDIA, is saying that the shortages are going to continue all the way through 2022. But I can imagine that you get into the spring of 2022 and the market looks way past that. And that might be how long you have to wait on Texas Instruments also. So good idea there. Give me a call, 877-927-6648, even if I don't tell you what you want to hear. Okay. And see what else. Okay, always on that. Okay, what do we have here? Get my bespoke suit. That. Okay. We're up 3 points on the S&P cash. We've had a lot of volume. There's been a lot of selling into that volume over the last handful of days. So it's not as easy as one would say. This may be a flat day on a lot of volume by the time we get into it. A lot of winners and losers out there. As we said before we went, we'd want to take a look at Visa, the same thing. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to raise rates on those cards. I would imagine. I didn't read too much into it. You got all the volume in the world, though on Visa down to the previous levels also. Okay, RRC, Range Resources. Saw this morning and thought about it. Still holding the 3x3 on the way up, so no signal out there. What do we have here? Teradyne, decent volume into the previous high. That was 124.18. 1.3 million shares. You already have 2 million shares. You need to close above 124.18, 124.45 now, or close to it. Barely. What I dislike is kind of the energy off this last low wasn't all that, which kind of talks about more about the possibility of it being range bound. Twitter, who didn't think that after Snap that we'd see the same kind of action in Twitter, down on huge volume. 57.64 was the last low with 17.5 million shares. We've already doubled that already, down to 55.45. This was always a $38 stock. They told the giant lie, and that was by going to newsletter formats, they were going to make a lot of money. They didn't, and it didn't change anything. And I think I remember saying it wouldn't. But, what can you say? I think headed back down long term to 40. It's got a lot of problems, just like Facebook or whatever they're calling themselves these days. 49 is the next stop, and then 44.40. I'm thinking this thing goes to $45 on this trip back down. It's just got too many problems. As we said earlier, earnings out after the bell. We wanted to hit a couple of these. Ford Motor Company, it's going to be tough with a lot of their plants shut down to see what their visibility is. eBay, Twilio is the one I wanted to look at before we go. TWLO, at least go to the break. You just did kind of a 50% retrace off that last low. You went down to 342.69, not much saying on this one. Doesn't look good. Does look like a lot of people shorted it earlier in the day. Probably wished they would have waited for the close. It is under the 3x3, which would put a little weight into this, probably not doing so well. But I don't know. Just looking at the indexes and some of the other options, just even Apple, just a lot of these things look like we're going to go flat, at least into earnings tomorrow night. As I said, so many of those that I thought were tonight were tomorrow from looking at it. But we got that. Spirit Airlines after the bell. iRobot, it's always a hooter. We'll look at that when we return.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, got a question from the golf guy who says, Himax is semiconductor solutions dedicated display image processing for consumer electronics brands worldwide. Again, part shortages mean that they're not shipping as much of their product as possible. That may go into all the way through the end of 2022. I think these things are going to be problematic, maybe range bound until maybe midsummer next year, if that prediction of all the way through 2022 is correct. But I think you got a ways. These things are not super expensive, and they are somewhat of a commodity, not a total one, but it is problematic. So I would avoid getting too excited about Himax right now. Again, we start seeing a lot of signs that has changed in Taiwan, then that would be, I might change my mind. Another question out here. Think NVIDIA took off because of the metaverse thing? No, nobody knows what the metaverse thing is, including the folks at Facebook don't know what it is, or they don't know how to explain it. All they know is it sounds like a good buzzword. And you know what? Sometimes buzzwords are all that are necessary to bring in the last of the money. But I don't think NVIDIA took off for that. Like I said, it's a company that could, if they could make everything they wanted, could sell 4 times what they do today for the next 6 months before they catch up. So I don't think it's anything more than that. Massive demand and a limited supply that will continue all the way into next year. Hang on for Tom O'Brien. And so when you have to, we'll be back. Same channel.